move to the agenda that real quickly. But
Second.
motion by Ms. Anderson, and a second by Mr. Rankin. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. All right, next, we have approval of the minutes from the May. Sparrow. Second by Mr. Carroll for approval of the May 10th and May 3rd minutes. Are there any additions or deletions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. All right, up next, we have reports to council. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we went over in the last meeting with or I guess some meetings ago, with possible timeline on land use strategy and everything, we, as staff, have met with, on many occasions to talk about the multitudes of densities, what that will look like across the county. We're continuing to work on that. Further, the planner, county attorney met with the planning commission and had an educational meeting where they went over the roles, responsibilities, and duties of the planning commission and the roles, responsibilities, and duties of the county as far as educational standards that are met, the tools they need, the toolbox to get their job done. One thing that remained prevalent coming out of that meeting was the need for a land use map, which would outline where we are as a county and where we're going, what those densities would look like and how applicable. So all of that is included in the comprehensive plan. So just to give an update, I've been working on professional services contract arrangement of that comprehensive plan, which I'll be executing next week, so we can start that planning process. And of course, that's an inclusive process. It includes a lot of public hearings. Like we talked about, we'll probably have 6 or 7 of those at least around the county. So the group working on the comprehensive plan can get feedback from the community on what they would like to see the direction of their county, and planning commission will be involved in that as well. But that's the update to give you the next step. That'll be executed next week and we can get started.
All right, thank you for that. I'd also like to take this time. I know several meetings we discussed zoning, land plan, the timeline. That timeline is long, whether it's like or not, is where it sits. The only way to do something immediately in the immediate present is to adjust our current subdivision ordinance to restrict and or allow different items, different densities, so on and so forth. I took the liberty of working on that ordinance, and I'd like to pass it out to council tonight, and I have copies for those who like one. And I'd like to go over it and get feedback from the council on I only have 15 copies, so those that are intimately involved in this, I appreciate y'all got one first.
Look at it before you go through.
I was going to go through it. I mean, I just made a few changes. I didn't rewrite the whole thing. I was going to go over the changes and adjustments for council's knowledge. We'll take a motion on there. We can just have it for review, whichever way. Is that all right with you?
I like that for review, you can, go through the change.
You know, if I go through the changes. All right, well, we're going to flash to it. And this is a draft. It's not a first reading. It's not, it can be a motional item, but it's not intended to be necessary. The first change is in 3.9. We're addressing landscape buffers on page 9. Section 3.9. Originally, it discussed landscape buffers, which are 8-foot berms, basically at the street to protect the, honestly, it's more for noise coming from the road to the subdivision, but addressing berms or landscape buffer strip all the way around the property to protect surrounding property. That's change number one. Also, under the construction parts, you'll see where it just has, in addition to the exterior of the road, also the property line of the mission review on a minor subdivision. That Chang, no changes to lots of well and septic, which is currently an acre. Moving on down to lots of public water and septic tank. It was 25,000 square feet. I'm recommending we go to 32,670, which is 3/4 of an acre. So public water and septic, we move to 3/4 of an acre. Page 19, 7.5. That is the open space residential development. That is a new one for us. We just approved that back in December. So it's only been in place for about 5 months. Originally, in addition to the, Bobby, if I'm wrong, correct, I believe it's 25% required, 25%. But before, the lot widths were 7,000 square feet. I'm recommending we move that to 10,890, which is a quarter acre. And the minimum tract for open space residential. So basically, if they wanted to use this style of subdivision, they would have to be looking at least a 25-acre tract. Because basically, a 5-acre tract requiring 25% residential, that's only an acre and a quarter of green space, which is nothing. So 25-acre tract can give you roughly 5 acres of green space versus the 1.25 we're looking at. And And also C would need to be changed, originally said 7,000 square feet, but now it's going to say meeting minimum lot size defined in A. Also currently, no residents shall be present in 6 feet of sideline lot, which is tiny. And at the 10, which is still small. And then also in E, all open space residential developments for all subdivisions with more than 100 acres. So if they're developing 100 more acres, they're required to use this open space model, which will, at that level, that means 100 acre lot would be 25 acres of usable green space. And this ordinance does clarify what's usable versus not usable. They can't use a floodplain or steep slopes. Any wetlands not usable by the residents does not count towards that 25%. Other improvements on page 23, 9.5. I picked my spelling. I apologize. You have to edit my grammar. But I added that any subdivision with over 25 over up to current county road standards to accommodate the increase of traffic. Developer will be responsible for bringing the roads up to standards, the current standards at the time of approval. So like right now, our current county road standard is 21 feet with 50-foot right of ways. A lot of our county roads we've heard from many residents are 16 feet on some, 18 feet if you're lucky. So it would require a developer was coming in, they'd be required to that they're using from a state road to their subdivision entrance to make it at least 21 feet in width. I'll bring it up. We're on page 23. We would have to, yes, thank you. We would need to adjust the title. Next on page 24, this ordinance also governs manufactured home parks. On page 24, 10.7. Once again, if we set these ordinances and the developer comes in and meets these ordinances, the staff would have the ability to approve them, but any variance request must go before the planning commission. Page 25 and right in the middle. Basically, you're changing may or shall require review by all parties before it's done. Also, I like this. I'm not set aside on this one. Lot area and width, letter G, page 25. Currently, you can do a mobile home park in 3 acres. I recommend we move that at least 10, which will once again get more area of green space and some setbacks. Page 26 at the top, letter I. I recommend we move that to 100. I believe those are all changes that I think. This is purely my recommendation. Here's no way whatsoever. I do. Council where the quickest path forward. This ordinance or issue a new one, whichever county attorney recommends on that level. While we continue to work on our comp plan and address our land use and zoning issues, but the quickest way is to amend this ordinance. I know some of these lot sizes still make a lot of people happy, but they are definitely larger than they were. I love the idea of a 2-acre lot for subdivisions, but it's just not practical at all for most subdivisions. Other than one, and then one apartment's 2 acres, other than one that was 5. That is the case in some places, but that is not the case in the majority of the subdivisions around the 3-4 acre lots, in addition to the 1 acre one that's already established with septic systems. I think that is a path forward that I'd love to hear questions or comments from the rest of my fellow council members.
I don't think it's wrong, but I just really need to go. I just can't just
Anybody have a recommendation besides amending the ordinance?
Anybody what?
Have a recommendation besides amending the ordinance? Absolutely. Are we okay if I request the county attorney to review, this is the first time he's seen to review these proposed amendments and bring us a draft, official draft at the next meeting? Is that doable? Sure. Okay, all right, you can do that for us, I appreciate it. All right, anything else on subdivision ordinances? All right, here none, we'll move on to old business. Are there any county submissions for county boards, commissions, or commissions? All right, here none, we'll move on. I'll call on. Save you for later. Next, second reading on ordinance 924. That is the ARPA allocation and disbursement ordinance. We've already gone through and approved the individual expenditure. We want to make it official in ordinance form so we can pay them out from the treasurer. I have a motion for second reading of ordinance 924.
Motion to approve on second reading ordinance 924.
Second.
We have a motion, Carol, second by Ms. Clark. Is there any discussion? Here none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Next up, we have public hearing on Project Dogwood. All about public hearing on Project Dogwood. Walsh County Park. Son, do you have anything to add?
I'm gonna let Jonathan give you the numbers again, but the reason it's normally we have public hearings at the first reading. We have a couple of glitches that need to be worked through, so the company wanted to go ahead and move the final reading to the 14th of June. John can go into the investment.
Investment, well, as Sandy mentioned, we had a couple of questions. We had pushed back third reading and then already published the public hearing notice, so we went ahead with that. But, this is like in the flooded area, just over $16 million, 135 new jobs. I will say it'll be a little different. Come third reading, we won't make our traditional announcement the day after the third reading. They're passing the preload ordinance with a special purpose entity as the name because they are a Dow Jones trading company, and they're trying to keep as soon as their names out. They're trying to, they've got some contracts to make it so before there's a public announcement. So that's kind of different, but as far as that's concerned, I'll be glad to answer the question about that.
We have the public hearing. Are there any questions for Mr. Coleman? As long as we don't change our mind. All right, thank you, as always, for your team's hard work in bringing this project to Lawrence County. I'm excited about this location in Clinton as well. That would be fantastic to get some industry. Here. Now open, so nobody's saying.
It's not.
See if we can move in here, see.
No.
So nobody's saying.
It's not.
But it's on the left-hand side of the board, going towards Green. All right. You've heard the comment from Mr. Coleman. Do I have a motion for first reading of ordinance 925, project rates?
Motion to approve first reading ordinance 925.
Motion by Mr. Runyon, second by Mr. Carroll. Are there any other questions or discussion? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of first reading of ordinance 925, please raise your right hand. All right, next up, public comments. Ms. Stewart.
And I'm Susan Stewart. I live in Fountain in Lawrence County. I do want to thank you for making some efforts to listen to us and make some adjustments about some of these issues about subdivisions. But I am coming to you again tonight with concerns about the destruction of our farmland, our rural properties, our green space, and our waterways. These poorly planned, densely populated residential developments and the lack of appropriate infrastructure will. I'm here also about the proposed preferred high-speed passenger train route, which is planned to travel through the farmland and the green spaces in Lawrence County. My final area of concern deals with access to public information. I understand that it's Lawrence County government's body procedure not to entertain questions at your meetings. I certainly acknowledge that, including those meetings of your commissions and boards. And if I slip up and ask a question, please forgive me, just consider it to be rhetorical in nature. But in consideration of your no question rules at meetings, I request that you provide another public communication to pose those questions directly, for instance, to the planning commission members. I should not have to go through multiple layers of bureaucracy to communicate with a commission or a government body. I'm not asking for personal contact information. I don't want that. But I am asking that commission members be assigned a Lawrence County government email address so that it's available to the public for direct communication. And I suspect that your county IT department could probably put 7 email addresses together in less than 10 minutes. So providing 7 addresses should be a simple task. It's not acceptable for me or for other citizens to not have direct access to government appointed commissions or boards who are charged with making government decisions and recommendations for action that will impact our citizens. I'm also requesting that as part of your required training, information about this recent progress and timeline on the proposed Amtrak fast-speed passenger train that will run from Atlanta to Greenville to Charlotte and then back on a daily basis. It will have the ability to run 220 miles per hour through Lawrence County farmland and Lawrence County property. The designated preferred route will run through our pastures, our farmland, our green space, our historic properties, and potentially through some archaeological sites. Lawrence County impacted land parcels have been identified already. Specifically, the proposed route impacts my family. It will bisect our for the cattle. For my cousins who also own part of that property, it will destroy their beef cattle operation and their livelihoods. Please don't tell me it's not going to happen. I won't take a chance of that. It's too personal to me. I'm asking you to educate yourselves on the federal Amtrak project. I'm asking you to communicate with Lawrence County residents. I'm aware that Anderson County is already making plans for this train. I've seen the letters going to property owners. I'm aware of the incremental funding that's being proposed and approved at the federal level. I've seen the project dashboard and the maps associated with it, and the project has advanced to their third tier level. I'm not willing to take a chance that this won't happen. I'm asking you also to make sure that you consider others in this process. It doesn't just impact me. For developers who are making plans in Lawrence County, I trust that you're going to advise them about the high-speed passenger train. Proposed Bridgewater development, which is 0.2 miles from my house and is just across the road from my farm. It appears that that train route is going to either run right through Bridgewater and then right on to Durbin Meadows. We've seen the maps, we've seen the lines drawn, and that it will either pass through those or it will pass closely by them, between the residential development and the creek. I'm confident that homeowners or home disclosure of this information. Notification about this is the ethical thing to do. I'm asking you to oppose the Lawrence County route for the Amtrak train. It won't stop in Lawrence County, and that you put a moratorium on these destructive, densely populated developments. I'm asking you to provide adequate proactive planning for future growth and development before you destroy our farms, our heritage, our green space, our waterways, our livelihoods, and all that makes our Lawrence County unique. I'm also asking that we communicate better with our citizens. All basic information. And, that's as simple as I can get. Finally, I'll just say, let's save our farmlands in Lawrence County. Thanks.
All right, next, we have Ms. Brogman. Ms. Brogman, are you still here this evening?
My name is Jackie Watson. I attended the planning commission training session last week. There were a few key points that I heard. Page 9 of the presentation states the land use elements and community
that, my friend.
The land use element and community facilities element of the comprehensive plan must be adopted for land development code regulations. It goes on to say, although the comprehensive plan is not a regulatory document, it is required by state law to be developed in order to guide the development of local government's land development code and code ordinances. Page 10, street structure said it may be constructed in the political jurisdiction until the proposed use has been submitted to the planning commission for review and comment as to the compatibility and intent of the comprehensive plan. All local government planning must conform to 1994 State Comprehensive Planning Act. So all planning elements must be an expression of the planning commission recommendation with regard to the wise and efficient use of future growth, development, etc., in consideration of the fiscal impact on property owners. The local planning commission shall review the comprehensive plan or elements of it as often as necessary, but not less than the plan. I do feel that the planning commission should be required to make decisions specifically regarding major subdivisions with such a vast impact in our county. I do not feel that the planning commission should be required to make decisions specifically regarding major subdivisions with such a vast impact in our county until they have all the defined tools available to make an informed decision for our county.
All right, next we have county council comments, and I do want to make one before we get started. On the comp plan, we should be on our website, if not, we'll make sure it gets there quickly. But we do have a comp plan, and its current cycle is up in 2023, and that's what we're discussing right now, reviewing that and more in depth than we have in the past. But we revisit it every 5 years, and it's due up to be renewed completely every 10, and we're on that complete renewal process next year. So that's the timeline of the current comp plan, just for educational purposes. All right, I will start on my right, Ms. Clark.
Really thank you, just something, thank you, and I had an opportunity to visit the old Wood Dixie building. We have a tour through that. It's beautiful. If you get a chance to go, and please cash and go there as well over there. And also, Councilman Trevor and I had opportunity to visit the new firehouse up in Grayport. Beautiful facility. And we thank the men and women that work there. We had a great fellowship with them as well. And thank all of you that came out, special concern for Lawrence County. We all love Lawrence County, and we want to see change and growth in Lawrence County. Thank you so much.
Ms. Clark, Mr. Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and I want to just reiterate, we have all done this in the past few meetings especially, but this is a new council, and we are listening to your concerns, and it is a process. And, I think the subdivision ordinance that was brought forward tonight is a great step in the right direction. But a lot of the developments that we are seeing really start to pop up in these areas were not decided by this council. And going forward, there's definitely going to be a much stronger focus to make sure that the developments in this county are done correctly and appropriately that best suit the needs of the county. So we are working on it, and the concerns that were brought forward tonight, I will be looking into those as well. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we're all getting thank you notes from folks that have been included in the ARPA distributions, and I could people who have provided the kind of services that were worthy of our funding. There were some really special requests that were made, and I have full confidence that those monies are going to go directly to help people who are in Lawrence County and need their help. So it is my intent to say thank you to those that were funded.
Ms. Young.
Looking at Lawrence County, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. We kind of depressed a little bit because so much is happening all around us that is negative, but so much is happening in Lawrence County that is positive. Just before like you, most of those who have the technology that is rampaging around and of the killing that happened in Texas today. And we know down in our neighbor in Newberry, there was 4 killings down there. And I heard about one over in Annandale and then in Anderson. So I'm hearing it all around, but I want us to look at growth in a positive way. Because I think that's what council is doing, as well as some of the citizens in the county. And with growth, there's going to be some growing pains. And with growing pains, we're going to have to learn how to massage it and negotiate with it and do everything we can to make sure that it's in a positive way, stroke it in a way and mold it in a way that it can turn out to be positive. Because as we ask these companies to come in and bring jobs and prosperity and salary to the people that live here, they also gonna bring a lot more other things. They're gonna bring overcrowding in the schools. They're gonna make overcrowding with the sheriff department and anywhere else we do not have the needs that have to be addressed. So just give us and work with us as much as you possibly can, and let's have, and so that we can grow and grow properly. And I think that's going to be the best thing that's going to happen in Lawrence County, because we got good people doing good things.
Thanks. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are representatives elected for the community, for the public. What district we're in, we are supposed to be your voice. So you speak, you come and you give us ideas of things we can look at or give us suggestions. That is your voice to us trying to speak for you. And so I write these things down. We are working on those. I thank the chairman for the work on subdivision ordinance, because that'd be the quickest, fastest way we could get something in place that would slow down the density packed housing that is troublesome and difficult. What's already been approved has been approved. They may or may not begin these subdivisions. Like nothing, they've got an ask to create a subdivision, but a lot of them haven't even begun yet. So we'll just see what happens there. But we do want you to keep us informed about what's going on in your community, and we write these things down and we work on them. And I also want to thank the chairman for what he did.
Thank you, Carol. Wonderful idea. We'll be discussing that first thing in the morning, and as long as everything's good, we will implement that as fast as possible. I will say too, I hope our contact information is out there. While a lot of commissioners, committee members, they're 100% volunteer, and I would not expect them to put their personal information out necessarily. They do need to be accessible, but not their personal information. That's why this is a great idea. As far as us set up here, we are accessible. We are elected by the people, and we have a responsibility to respond to the people. I will gladly at any time, I don't know if anybody would be directed that up and give some of your neighbors. And I'm welcome to answer any questions, any that you have. And as far as getting information, if there's a piece of information you can't find, email me. If I put my hands on it, I'll have it to you as fast as I can, or get it to you from staff as fast as I can. Things like meeting minutes, sometimes they don't get posted until they're approved at the next meeting. And I understand that can be frustrating. However, they're usually ready long before then. So if we can get you a draft copy, I would be more than happy to consider that once staff's able to get them ready. A draft copy, because while we meet every other week, ours will be out next Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, ours. But planning, you might not see them for 3.5 weeks. And I understand why that can be frustrating. But I'll work on maybe getting some draft minutes, even push to the website, but knowing that they're not official until they're approved at the following meeting. I do want to thank Mr. Troll for his comments on the ARPA money. Kind of stole my thunder, but we haven't Mr. Rankin. They had an opportunity to visit the new election office. I got to watch it from the ground up, like several other staff did, and if you told me it looked like it looked today 4 weeks ago, I'd probably lie. I'm amazed by the work that's been done. I recommend check it out when you are available. If you are eligible to vote absentee, you can go there and vote absentee when the time comes. That's what this looks like. That's up here and all the way up to the White House. So when you have the opportunity, please exercise your right to vote. With that being said, I will call for a motion to enter executive session for 2 matters: one, the human resources employment matter, and second, a legal briefing with a county attorney.
What's the executive session?
Second by Mr. Rankin, second by Ms. Clark. All those, executive session at 6:15. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Time is now time now 6:54. I'll call the meeting council back to order. Council executive session to discuss two matters, human resources appointment matter, and legal briefing. Attorney, no action was taken. Seeing and hearing no motions, I'll now call the motion to adjourn regular session of county council. Second, by Mr. Carroll, second by Mr. Troll. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. County council regular meeting is adjourned. Now, right into our budget workshop. Number one order. Pray. Flag. Call for a motion to approve the agenda. Which you first? Motion by Mr. Wright. Second by Mr. Carroll. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Why don't we hang out with us? All right. Before we get going, I'll have council members weigh in on how long you want to stay this evening. Y'all have my opinion, but I will take recommendations from those. I've heard a 9. Learning at 7:15. Go. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. All right, we got 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
8:30. And 8:30. Do I hear any word about it? Let's go at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock bell ring. We'll set another meeting and the week after that. So in attendance, group up folks at 9. Do it for very long. First off, I would like to commend our new county administrator and our new finance director. This is both of their first budget of the council. They're both nervous to see this. Hands shaking right there. Just kidding. But they worked very, very, very hard on this, putting this together with the department heads. I've heard several compliments from department heads on how well they work with, communicate with. Fresh air, so I'll thank you both before we get started. And ask council to be gracious, since this is their first rodeo. We're all going to learn and do it together. So, up first is an overview of the revenues and expenses. Ms. Morrow, would you like to run over that with us real quick?
Yeah, the total revenues for the county.
There aren't page numbers, but there are sections, so you just tell us which page.
There are page numbers on the region.
There are. Oh, yeah. In the top left-hand corner, it's kind of sideways, in the top left-hand corner, there is a page number.
And total on revenues is 27,881,567. The recommended amount. The requested amount is 26,046,296. The total expense is 29,410,707. That leaves a deficit of 1,529,140 before the